Hi, I'm Troy Ray. I'm pastor of Lakeshore Family Fellowship. From almost the beginning of his time with his disciples, Jesus talked about the kingdom of heaven. Now, as they made their way to Jerusalem, after many times hearing about the kingdom of heaven, somebody put someone up to asking Jesus, when we have this kingdom of heaven, who's going to be the greatest? And Jesus didn't answer that question. Instead, he framed it in his own mind toward a better answer. It says that he took a child and placed the child in the middle of them. And he said, Whoever changes, that's really important, and becomes like this little child, he will be greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Thinking about heaven and thinking about little children, I thought while I was pondering this talk, I thought about my youngest child, Lauren, when she was 2. Now, we were a little more tired when Lauren came along. And so she, not only did she learn from her brother and sister, but we were a little tired. And so Lauren found ways around the little interventions that parents make. She liked to get into the refrigerator. And so we put a latch on the refrigerator. She figured out how to open that latch. So we got a different kind of latch, and we put it up higher out of her reach. So she learned how to get a chair, and she figured out the new latch. One time I was sitting in the family room. The house was quiet, and like a parent, you hear a noise that you know is not a noise you should be hearing. And I got up, and there was Lauren coming from her bedroom into the kitchen. And she figured out how to get into the refrigerator without being seen. And this is what she did. As she walked along, she figured that if she couldn't see me, then I couldn't see her. Well, I fussed at her, and she went back to bed, and she grew up and became a great person. But when Jesus said that we needed to be childlike, he wasn't saying that we needed to be childish, which in fact Peter and the apostles were being. They wanted to be first. They wanted to be best. They wanted to be recognized. They wanted to be noticed. They wanted accolades. Jesus said, unless you change, because the thing is that this kind of feeling, this kind of behavior is in everybody. We go from being childlike to childish. What is it about a child that Jesus was looking at? Well, in some ways, I think the incident with Lauren is a good example. A child being like a child. They're very bad at deception. They're very poor at creating pain and misery and hurt for other people. It's just not in their nature. In fact, most children, when they go to the playground or to some public place where there are other children playing, just make friends almost immediately. Sometimes they'll bring their new friends to you and say, look, this is so-and-so, my new friend. And that's what being childlike is. Being childish is different. And so Jesus said you had to change because we lose that childlikeness as we grow up. Think about it, you always wanted to be older. You always wanted to be bigger. You always wanted to be in the next grade. You couldn't wait to grow up. And when we grew up, we adopted, in a lot of ways, the worst habits of the grown-ups around us. We learn how to be deceptive. We learn how to be spiteful, and so on. So, the kingdom of heaven differs from heaven in that heaven is the abode of God and will be the abode of those who are redeemed through Christ. The kingdom of heaven is where that heaven touches this earth. It's the place that we live here and now and enjoy the blessings of God through Christ here and now. To be a part of that here and now that is blessed, we must become like a child. Would that be hard for you? I hope that it won't be as hard for you as it has been for me. I love you. We'll talk some more.